So this is a very good question because it actually illuminates a very key point about barium fluoride crystals and why they can sometimes be difficult to use and not the best choice for an experiment. So in one of my previous videos, I explained what a scintillator is and how it works and how it can turn a high energy gamma ray into multiple lower energy photons. However, I lied a little bit in that video because I said that it will turn them into visible photons, but that is not always what happens. So in the case of barium fluoride, it does not emit photons in the visible range. It actually emits photons in the ultraviolet range, which is still lower energy than gamma rays, but UV light is a lot harder to work with than visible light because it is opaque to many materials, including glass. So that means that all of the detectors that we would normally use upstream of the scintillator that are made of glass will not work. So you have two options. Option one is you either buy a very special piece of equipment that is made of a special quartz glass window so that the UV light can go through, or you can use what's called a wavelength shifting material. The one we use is called TPB. That is an acronym which I don't care to explain, nor do I remember what it actually stands for. But what it does is you coat your crystal in this compound, TPB, and it shifts the wavelength, as the name would imply, of the light that hits it. So when these UV photons hit the TPB as they bounce around the middle of the scintillator, they convert the wavelength of those UV photons into visible photons. And so when the visible photons come out, then those visible photons can go into our actual detector and we can measure them. And that explains why we had to spend so much time cleaning over 1,000 of these crystals, because they were used in a really old experiment in which they were covered in this TPB compound, but it had desiccated over time and gotten really gross and cruddy. So we had to spend days and days and days wiping off all of these crystals, removing the old TPB compound, and then eventually we will have to once again cover them back up with TPB compound.